can even be depressed. And then there's sexual and reproductive health issues, where when you are termed female, people are expecting you to be pregnant and push a big stomach. Or, because you are termed male, they are expecting you to have 3 wives and make everyone pregnant because you come from the royal family. Is that what you want? Is that how you identify? And then people will put on pressure on you and say, you have to leave a legacy in this world. Does that have anything to do with you as a person? So there's a lot of pressure in terms of sexual and reproductive health, but also there's a lot of substance use and abuse because people are trying to forget of what's going on. And then there's violence and victimization, even within us, the LGBTQI community. We are victimizing and there's so much violence amongst us. Once in Hillbrow, in Joburg, in one of our trans clinics, I think in a space of 2 weeks, we received about, I think it was 67 cases of people, of females who are attracted to other females being physically violated. One would think maybe it's more common amongst males who are having sex with males, right? But now it was females in relationship with other females. And they were doing a lot of physical violence. People were coming with blue eyes, stabbed. Not stabbed by other men, they're stabbed by other females. So we need to be aware that these things exist. And then suicidal attempts, people who actually have tried to commit suicide, there's about 16%. So you see, we're dealing with lots of problems. Okay, and then if you are looking at cisgender women, right, where the number is 204, comparing them to, if like this is a lifetime risk of having suicide attempts, right? And then in the past year it was 14%, which is double to that of cisgender women. Why? Because when we are looking at a cisgender woman, we're not looking at a woman. I mean, sorry, a transgender woman. We're looking at a transgender, not a person. Already they are transgender, so they're already dealing with that pressure. We don't want to accept them as females. We always want to label them and say they are transgender. And that is a stressor enough for them to want to commit suicide. So when someone identifies as female, let's identify them as female. Let's stop the boxing because it contributes a lot into mental health. Okay. And then, you see, if you've got distinct distress factors that is related to gender, and being rejected at home, being victimized, because now you are this male who's soft and people want to take you to the mountains and circumcise you. Why unjena? Maybe uzoqinisa lapha entabeni. Yabona? So all those factors, and then again look at the fact that there's negative expectations and people are talking about you and there's transphobia, and then you don't even know about pride. You don't even know that there are support structures, and what happens? Someone becomes depressed and wants to kill themselves. So in any of those, whether someone has got pressure to deal with, it does affect their mental health, because the things you should be doing, you're not doing because you are trying to protect yourself from other people. And then we're looking at stigma, discrimination, and health. I think Dr. Polo covered this very well. But if we're looking at this, it's things that are causing acute stress, the access to care. If you are thinking about going to the clinic, you just immediately have palpitations because you are just thinking of all the things that you're going to experience. You know what we're talking about? Hey, Ntate Banban, and only to come up, then everyone is looking at you to tell how this Baba, why are they wearing heels and all these things? So there's a lot of things that we need to change. Or you go to Home Affairs and then they put like, what's this letter? How you people are so sick, and they throw it there in front of everyone else. Now everybody knows that you're coming to do a gender marker change, you see? So there's a lot of things that are going on. So the mental health, the physical health, access to care, and then access to competent care is also different. Where you find Dr. Buso, who's maybe aware, it will be totally different to a doctor who has never even heard of transgender or gender affirming care. Ne? Okay. And then the most important thing is that we are interconnected. You find Dr. Buso is dealing with sex work stigma because I make my living from doing sex work. At the same time, I am HIV positive. I need to access medication, and the clinic tells me I can't validate. But when I go there at 4 o'clock, everyone is looking at me and I'm even more depressed. So after hours, when I'm not, because maybe during the day I'm sleeping, because maybe my sex work is more apparent, the business goes better at night. So at night I'm working, then during the day I'm sleeping, but I can't access my ARVs, and then there's that. And then to top it all, I'm being racially discriminated, because racism still exists, ne? And then there's homophobia and transphobia. So this is trying to show you that we can't deal with issues as single entities. And there are many issues that affect one person in one body. And then the coping mechanisms will depend on how resilient you are, the support and the networks that are available, as well as challenging stigma, knowing your rights, being appropriate and being there at the right time for the things that you need. So it says here, there is no such thing as a single issue struggle because we do not live single issue lives. The fact that you are transgender doesn't mean HIV is not going to affect you. It doesn't mean that TB will not affect you. It doesn't mean that sexual reproductive health is not going to affect you. It also doesn't mean that you do not want to have offspring. But how you do it, it's you, it's up to you. And the system must be able to support you to do whatever you need to do. Okay, so gender affirming treatment improves mental health. Do we agree?
Yes.
Who says no? Gender affirming treatment improves mental health. Who says no? Come on, there's no right or wrong answer. Remember, we're here to learn and to share. Sometimes we might think we know an issue when we don't. I heard someone saying no. Who was saying no? Okay, whoever believes that the treatment improves mental health, who says yes? Okay, just a comment maybe from one person at the back. Why do you say that?
Because it makes you feel like you're going into a direction that actually affirms you just as a person.
Yes, So because now all of you, let's say you have done your gender marker change at the Home Affairs, you are looking beautiful in the part. So when people look at your ID, oh, okay, Miss Buso, ne? They don't know the history that you transitioned or whatever it is. This is what they see. So gender affirming healthcare does that, so that all the other distress that you are dealing with, where people now are calling you by a name, and what you call a dead name, it's not that, because now you've changed your name and this is what you called. And when a sister stands up at the clinic and then is going to say, oh, okay, Melody or Precious, and that's who you are, because you've done. So that's what a gender affirming treatment does. So if we are looking at hormonal treatment, it also improves mental well-being. Because if you identify as female and you would like to have some breasts, and people are always complaining, oh, you have such a flat chest. Then there are people like that. Hey, what's what one? No, Nomsa, They say I'm so fat. People have always something to comment about, and it can cause so much distress. And I'm thinking, guys, I've read so hard, I've been 189 pages, but you still telling me I'm fat.